civic education is critical to bring this. And we have a number of NGOs and civil society organizations that the communities at that level of the village and ward level could work with to be able to help them in this. So significantly from this meeting, there is a clear gap in civic education impacting understanding of their roles in the public participation process. Morara highlighted these gaps, and I think we are now following Morara, who is doing civic education in this country, on a number of projects that have not been implemented, or a number of projects that we have lost the money, billions and billions of money. If we lose this money in 5 years, how much have we lost in the last 10 years when the 2010 Constitution and the county government governance was initiated? Billions and billions and billions of money. This is why we are doing this, to inform, to educate, and to come up with a model for urban areas and a model that could also inform rural areas and rural destinations, so that then they benefit a lot. Another challenge is confusion and miscommunication. I repeat, confusion and miscommunication. The forum exposed confusion between county and national government roles and wrangles, and between different administrative units. For example, for those projects that are done by the national government, you'll find that it's the chiefs who handle these projects on the ground. Now, based that they do not have any skills, any knowledge on project management, then these projects are misappropriated, the funds are misappropriated, the projects end up falling, okay, or even analyzed or analyzed, what do we call it? They are not given that health for a project to continue. It could say it has not met standards for the construction, and it could pose risks and safety issues for the residents or for the beneficiaries who will use those projects. So there's really a big gap between chiefs, MCAs, and their PAs and contractors. But again, there is also a very big gap between the county government, some of the projects from the planning stages at the finance and procurement levels. That came out from this meeting. Another issue we now go to another gap, which is strategic issues. Strategic issues really came out that some of the projects are not strategically thought and they are not strategically implemented, leading to loss of funds and public funds. And what are some of the strategic issues that Ma Museum or the native researcher brings you in this particular special channel? One is research and benchmarking. There is a really lack of research, and there is also lack of benchmarking. While the participants and residents talked about Makueni and Kitui, from the devolution, those counties are well known to have understood devolution, implemented their projects, and significantly, Kitui, Makueni, Machakos have become role models for benchmarking for other 47 counties in this country. So there's a lot that we can learn, but there are also still a few that we can also learn from Kajiado County. Benchmarking projects that Ma Museum has studied and researched, and we have quite a number of benchmarking projects that we can learn from. But majorly in the country as Kenya, Kamakueni, Kitui, and Machakos become benchmarking sites. And why again? I was working with AMREF when we supported Machakos and Kitui in health programs. And it was very successful because the CEC could sit with us. We took some of them for reproductive health trainings and even took some of the journalists for these trainings so that they can also report well on devolution and challenges to inform practices, to inform research, to inform better outcomes in county government installed projects. So the need for better research and benchmarking, such as learning from Makueni County devolution model, was emphasized even in this meeting that we attended. And this involves assessing successful and failed projects to improve future implementation. Unmet needs. We have quite a number of unmet needs based on rural areas based on urban communities and estates like in Rongai, Kiserian, and Ngong. So a good example of one of the unmet needs, especially for pastoralist communities, is eye care. Ma Museum, partnering with Dr. Long Malin, a retired eye care specialist. We visited most of the schools in Kajiado West, assessed and screened children, and we realized refractory error played a major gap in our children in schools. And these are children, when they go to class and they take a book, then they start tearing, they start complaining of headache, and some of these girls are taken to be assessed and screened for teenage pregnancy. Why? Just because of the mirror. Our project was able to provide 2,500 glasses, and that really influenced the performance of national exams in Kajiado West. Actually, we had a presentation with the sub-county education officer who gave us the statistics of improvement. For those children we cannot treat, who are beyond our program, we referred them to Lions Hospital in Loresho, in around Kangemi. And basically, when lions come in, they come to the ground and they are able to screen the children that we refer that we cannot handle, but again screen the community. So the community again benefits from this. The challenge here is we are not working with the county government, and they are not really in partnership to also offer their services. We have eye care doctors and specialists. This is where we need them now to come. And even now as we speak, we are in a Waso, Kedong, in screening. Now we are in screening. We are finished with the Langata West. We are finished with Lergezaile schools. We are finished with Magadi Ward. Now we are in Kidongi, Ewaso and Kidongi for the screening. This is where really we are asking the county government and the ministry and the Department of Public Health, and especially eye care department, that let us work together to reach these children, because we have already reached 75% of the beneficiaries. Again, issues such as eye care, livestock needs is also another issue which have been brought again by climate change. So there is quite a number of negative impacts through climate change. And these are some of the projects that we are thinking, that we are recommending for the county annual development programs, including also tourism opportunities that were discussed, but there are gaps in addressing this adequately. Kajiado North and Kajiado West have potential significant, either paleontological, either anthropologically, landscapes, and even with the traditions and cultures. Olergezade UN Tourism Village was awarded this award by the UN out of 175 applicants in the world, in 55 members of World Tourism Organization, because Kenya is also a member. When you go to Kajiado South, we have already submitted our proposal, and we submitted one village called Enkongo Narok Candidates Village for 2024 for the edition of the UN Tourism Villages. We hope we will still be able to achieve this award, because Kenya also sits in some of the communities of the World Tourism Organizations. Opportunities for improvements. From this presentation, I want now to bring you opportunities for improvements. And we start on time management. Ensure forums begin as scheduled and adhere to the agenda to prevent delays. They should also be efficient and effective coordination. This will improve coordination among officers, planning, and stakeholders to prevent frustrations and walkouts. I observed when, after the MCA discussed and gave out his frustrations from the model of county governments, 3 officers walked out. I think they went to talk and discuss on something, which is also allowed if it is to improve the public participation. So frustrations and walkouts should not be seen by residents. Otherwise, you bring a picture that there are already gaps, and this actually made us understand some of the wrangles, some of the gaps between the MCA, the county officers who are managing and planning for this, and even maybe the national governments. I have not seen, I didn't know who is the chief there, who is the ward admin, but these were the three seated at the high table. Another area for opportunity that will help Kajiado County government and other 47 counties is boosting public participation. So we need to look at broader engagement, increase community involvement beyond administrators and chiefs. Use various outreach methods to ensure wider public participation. We also encourage and recommend that before this meeting to present projects on programs for county annual development programs, we should have at the lower level, at the villages, and then these ones are brought up to this meeting. That will have better impact because the issues have been picked at the village and ward level to the CADP consultative forum, which is attended minimally by very few people. Of course, because of logistics, 3 or 4 could come from a village, and that really compromises public participation. Clear communication, that was another, it's a clear communication gap. So it's also an opportunity to provide clear information about roles and responsibilities to enhance understanding and participation. And one of the challenges we observed was that these calls are announced in the public newspapers, that media channel. And 60% or 70% populations are illiterate in Kajiado West. Kajiado North, yes, has quite a significant number who have gone to school. The literacy levels are high. But in Kajiado West, it is the least known part of this country that the illiterate populations are high. And even development, it is the county, it's the part of is part of this country that really has poor development indicators. And we are already having petitions, some of them to look at these indicators to enhance public participation and allocation of funds for these poor communities, especially in the Kajiado West and Magadi, which carries very high levels of poverty, beyond 50%. And we have statistics to justify that, what we are saying. Another opportunity is strengthening project management. So to address incomplete projects, you need to develop a structured approach to complete ongoing projects and ensure accountability. Some of the model cases that the team from Kajiado County presented and case models of such projects are those projects that were incomplete, the contractor was sacked, and another one was brought. We lose a lot of money. Just follow Morara, who has been giving us some of the stalled projects in this country. It is a very good, is bringing a program of civic education that let us look at it from informing, educating, so that at the ward and village level, you know the projects and you can bring that, the Moraro approach. And Ma Museum can work with the communities at those levels to bring in memorandums and submissions of projects that need to be complete. Because this was why this forum was held today in 5 sites in 5 sub-counties. So we need to address incomplete projects and address structured approach to complete ongoing projects and ensure accountability and transparency. But we also need to combat corruption from the community level. Corruption can be combated at that level so that you don't accept, you don't give any consent to any projects. And again, this is well also informed within the free, prior, informed consent of the UN Indigenous People Framework, that any project that entails engaging communities should have a consent from the communities, whether county projects, whether projects carried by NGOs and civil society projects, whether research projects, whether even a toilet. You must have a consent because it's well dictated within the county, the UN Indigenous People Framework. And this is what some of the problems we face with Amboseli being transferred as a national park without the consent of the Kisongo people and tribal clan.